and welcome to Redbrook Hazy's Explorers Nursery Maths Workshop for Parents. In this workshop I'm hoping to explain to you how we would do things at school and how you can help as parents, understanding where your child needs to get at the end of reception, but ideally where we need to be in nursery, what we work towards. So our aims are to share the curriculum with you and to let you know the expectations for your child at their age now. So I know some parents sometimes are not quite sure where that is. It's always helpful to know. To explain how we teach mathematical development at Redbrook Hayes, to explore some resources and strategies that could be used, and to share some ideas that you could possibly use at home. It's really important during this current climate. So there are two aspects of mathematical understanding in early years, and that is number and numerical patterns. This is an overview of the expectations that we work for, the objectives that we have to track children against. So looking at the screen, this is 0 to 3, this is 3 to 4, which is nursery, this is 4 to 5, and this column is the end of early years expectations. So as you can see, it's changed slightly this year with the pilot one that we're using. Used to be to 20. Now it's not about rushing the numbers ahead. Yes, children probably can count to 20, but it's really having a deep understanding number to 10, being able to talk about that number, understanding what numbers make up those numbers to 10. Okay, but those are our nursery ones there, which we'll look at in a moment. And then we can see the same for numerical patterns. Again, 0 to 3, which is like our preschool, 3 to 4 nursery, 4 to 5 reception, and end of reception there, and it's looking at the things. So in closer detail we can see, let's move that one over. So in nursery, number in nursery, it's having that fast recognition of up to 3 objects without having to count them individually, which we call subitizing. As you can see here, we show lots of pictures, we get children to look around the room, the setting, so it's things that you could do at home. You can see there 3 chocolates. I always say to the children, what can you see and how can you see it? So lots of children can shout out 3, and then I'll say, well, how can you see it? So some children will say, I can see it as 1 and 1 and 1. Some children will say, I can see it as 2 and a 1. Some children will say, I can just see 3. And that's okay, it's just them explaining what they can see and how they see it. Again, pair of flip-flops here, show that picture to the children. What can you see, how can you see it? You might say, I can see 2 stripy flip-flops. Okay, how do you see 2? They might just say, I can see it's 2 and 0 or 1 and 1. And it's getting that language that we're really building up during our time in nursery. Recite numbers past 5. So reciting, obviously we know that children can recite numbers in order. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Past is obviously 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, etc. Say one number for each item in order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lots of practice on that. So having items in front of them and then pointing to each one as they go. Children do have 2 objects and they will count it as 1 because they're not understanding that, and that's fine. That's what we learn to do. Know that the last number reached when counting a small set of objects tells you how many there are in total, which is the cardinal principle. So when they've counted, for instance, got 3 apples there, they would say 1, 2, 3. There were 3 apples, and it's really important to get them to repeat that last number that they finished on. Okay, we say put them in lines if the children are struggling. Can help them then, so they can go 1, 2, 3. There were 3 apples. Show finger numbers up to 5. So I might say to them, show me 3, and I would be happy with anything. So 1, 1, 1, 2 and 1. Okay, don't always have to just show 3 fingers like that. Just showing it, and you might encourage them like that. Show me 4, but don't just show me 1, 1, 1 and 1. Show me 4 in a different way. Can you make it with your toys? Link numerals and amounts. So obviously in the environment there's always numbers around, so it's getting them to look at those excuse me, and to understand what that number is. Can they match that with an amount? Building it up like that. Experiment with their own symbols and marks as well as numerals, so it's okay for them to just scribble. Lots of children do lines, like a tally line, drawing circles. Whatever they do is their way of representing a number, and that's okay. Eventually they will then understand that 1 is the recognised numeral, 2, etc. So if you've got number cards or a piece of paper, you can write them on, you can match them with when they're playing games like that. And then solve real world mathematical problems in numbers up to 5. So, you know, an example is you might say, I've got 2 bananas here. How many more would we need to make 5 bananas? Can we work that one out? And how can we do that? So it's lots of activities like that we can use. For numerical patterns, you can see this is the end of nursery, so this is what we would hope that most of our children can achieve at the end of nursery. And again, it's okay if they can't, and some of them might exceed that, and that's okay, but this is the expectation nationally. So to compare quantities using language like more than, fewer than, we do lots of that at school. So I've got 2 amounts here. Is there more or fewer in these amounts? Talk about and explore 2D and 3D shapes using informal mathematical language. We don't expect them to say this is a triangular prism, but looking at a triangular prism as a 3D shape, they might say, oh, it's got 2 triangle ends, or I can see rectangles, I can see 3 rectangles that make that shape up. Okay, looking at the sides, the corners, straight, flat, round. So when we hold up a circle and a sphere, and I'll say, is this a circle with a sphere? And some of them will say, yes. I say, actually, it's not a circle, because a circle is a flat 2D shape, isn't it? But this shape, this sphere, is curved. It's got curved sides, and it's just using that language that the children just build up. Understand position through words alone with no pointing. So that could just be something as simple as, can you go and put the book underneath the table? And we don't point, we don't show them how to do it. Describe a familiar route. Discuss routes and locations using words like in front, of and behind. Make comparisons between objects relating to the size, length, weight and capacity. And so we've done that recently with the Goldilocks and 3 bears. Can you get me 3 different size bowls? Can you put them in order from biggest to smallest? When you're outside on a walk and you find some sticks. Okay, so this stick is the longest stick, this stick is the shortest stick. Now can we put these 5 sticks in order of size? Select shapes appropriately. So it says in brackets, flat surfaces for building a triangular prism for a roof. So it's knowing, just applying their knowledge of when they're building which shapes actually fit better. Combine the shapes to make new ones. Talk about and identify the patterns around them. For example, stripes on a clothes, spots on the bowl. Use informal language like pointy, spotty blobs. Excuse me. And begin to describe a sequence of events, real or fictional, using words such as first and then. So they might wake up and say, right, first I've gone downstairs, second next I'm going to have my breakfast, then I will clean my teeth, after that I will get dressed. Okay, so it's just having that knowledge. The more you can talk to the children and just develop that language, the better for them. They will do it. So how we teach maths, we encourage mathematical learning through lots of play and practical. Obviously in nursery it's all about playing, we learn through our play. Before we can embark on any kind of form of calculating, there are vital practices that children need to experience. So, you know, just playing with number, playing with toys, making sure using that language. Outside, go and play some hopscotch, playing with the sand, the water, number rhymes, songs, stories, games, videos. They love number blocks. I was just looking at my typo there, sorry about that. Role play, when you're playing games with them, you know, lots of children like playing shopkeepers, playing with your money in your purse, and it's just familiarising them with that. Kind of things that we do at school for number, so it's always just having some kind of number option there, so a numeral, so they can just relate it if they want to, but it's like subitizing. Dominoes are brilliant for subitizing, isn't it? Using egg cartons, you can see there, tweezers, so obviously we can develop fine motor as well. Just getting them to have fun with it. They don't realise they're learning, they're just having so much fun playing with these numbers and shapes. They just don't realise they've learned something, but when you use your language around them, they can get so much, and you can get so much from what they're saying as well. So those are the kind of activities there. They love exploring anything with scales, anything with mixing and matching. We also use WhiteRose scheme at school for maths. WhiteRose is actually doing some online resources that parents can access at the moment, so I have actually put you the link on that later on in the slides. But you can see the kind of things, look, spot my mistake, show the children patterns which have deliberate mistake, what do they notice, get them to talk about it, can they see the deliberate mistake there, can they find ways to solve that problem. I've got here, look, providing one large ball of dough, ask the children to share this to make sure that everyone has the same piece. How many children are having breakfast? Do we have enough cups and bowls? I mean, I won't read from all of those, but you can look back at it later and just see the kind of things that we do. Here, so the number for 3. So having a set of dot plates and cards which have 1, 2 and 3, can they arrange them, can they sort them, can they subitize them, can they count them, different ways to make it, can they get objects that match up to that. And it's really important digging deeper. This is why we don't rush to 20 anymore at the end of reception. It's looking to 10 because we really want the children to be able to talk about the numbers and to understand what they are actually doing with that, so it makes sense, so they can look at their number bonds. They know that 10 is made up of 5 and a 5 and 6 and a 4, 3 and 7, etc. Guessing my rules, explaining, can you prove to me that you're right? How do you know that you're right? Prove it to me. Those kind of things will get them to be really good using mathematical language. We don't teach calculation as such and necessarily into nursery. We would obviously have items of like, look, there's 3 apples, there's 2 more, but red in the head we use a lot, especially as we move through into reception, so they can actually problem solve there. But children really have to have a good understanding of the concept of number and what those 2 numbers mean first before they can even put them together to make a set. But you teach me, pupils, teachers, they love that kind of thing, so if you can do that at home, they'll love it. So how do we do learning in early years? So maths is integrated into everyday activities in the continuous provision. And for instance, when we say line up and going outside onto a welly walk, can you get into 2s? Can you find a partner? Snack time, when they've got the fruit, you can have 1 piece of fruit. Can you pour half of your cup? Register. And then we also do course skills 5 times a week, so every day they will have 5 to 10 minutes of an input into maths, which then they can go and put into their learning. We encourage the use of different learning apparatus, so cubes, compare bears, beads, fingers, number lines, toys, whatever works well for them. And as I said, it's in the continuous provision always, as always, number in the continuous provision. So home learning never has been as important as it is currently. We are here to help you and guide you to whatever you think you might work in your home. So please do ask myself and Mrs. Upton for anything that we can help you with. The daily challenge mats, the weekly challenge mats, come out. They've got daily activities, haven't they? So use those. Watch number blocks. You know, if you don't know what to do, you've got 10 minutes, put them on YouTube or on your TVs. If you've got a smart TV, they absolutely love number blocks. You can actually buy the videos, DVDs off Amazon as well if you wanted to. They're about £5 for each series, which are really good to just keep going back over. Singing catchy rhymes. If you type in anything on YouTube, you know, singing songs and put EYFS on, you'll come up with lots of songs there and activities for them to do. Just play with them. Just play with them. Incorporate the number, but don't force it. Don't make it become this is a math session now. Just make it fun. Oh, can you go and play a game? Can you go and find me 3 red things in the house? Can you find me 2 green things in the house? Oh, how many have we got now together? A resource I found, some of the things that I know some of you might like looking at. So it says that your child will begin to realise that everything can be counted, not just objects. During this, get them to count, well, as they're going upstairs, count how many stairs, how many pieces of fruit in the fruit bowl, how many books on your bookshelf. But they can also count claps and jumps, kicking a ball. When your child is counting them, encourage them to line them up. How many apples, how many cars, how many spots. Encourage your child to count out specific numbers of objects as you go on your daily routine. So can you put out the 4 knives, the 4 forks that we need for our dinner today? That one's slightly smaller, but it's just saying basically about looking in the environment when you're going on your outdoor walks, around your house, on cereal packets, on magazines. Can they find numbers there? Learning to add and subtract, but not like as written. We don't want to be doing that. We just, you know, you've got 3 cars, you've got 4 trucks. Can we count them out to get how many all together to make that set? And more and less, as I said, fewer than, less than. So it's just a few more there. I like that one. How many more chocolate biscuits or jammy dodgers and the biscuit tin? And for how many more, we usually get them to put the amount that they're out. So if there was 5 jammy dodgers and then there was 4 rich tea, so put the 5 out and then the 4, then they can see that there's 1 more. They can understand that principle there. I've put on some websites there. I know there's quite a few. It's like mind-boggling, but if you do have access to a tablet that you let a child go on during the day, then these are some good maths ones. But there's so many out there. Again, as long as you type in maths early EYFS, you'll probably come up with some good ones yourselves. Please share. WhiteRose. So what I've put there is the link. That is a link there to WhiteRose Home Learning, which they've put out. And when it comes, you'll come to a screen like this here, and this is the earliest section in blue. If you click on it, you've got activities. So there's a lady talking through activities. She's, you know, a bit of maths, and then there's an activity that you can go to. So that's when you click on the pink link, go to activity. This is an example of one that comes up. I mean, if you've got a printer, you could print that out, or you could just use it on screen, get them to point to them. But a really good link, WhiteRose Home Maths, if you're struggling with ideas for what to do. And a few more things there I've just put on. I've probably mentioned them already. So looking for numbers in the environment, comparing numbers, putting them in order, looking out for things when you're out and about, number bingo, count backwards from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, etc. Number snap, dice games. Dice games are brilliant because it allows them to subitize that number as well and just recognise that 5 and what that looks like. If you've got shapes at home or finding objects, so, you know, finding your cereal box, what shapes can we see on there? Making pictures, number formation, counting out pounds and pennies. There's so many things you could be doing. Tips though, do it little and often. Don't make it a big focus. Children's brains, especially at this age, 4 or 5 minutes, and then they're probably ready to go and do something else. Lots of praise, lots of praise. If they do get it wrong, that's okay. Don't mind. Model it, show them how you would have worked it out. Play lots of games, but remember the main thing, maths should be fun. You know, it is fun at school. They love doing maths at school. They're so good at it. They've got such wonderful ideas. So yeah, it's all about making it fun. So thank you for listening. Hope I didn't keep you too long, 18 minutes there. If you do need anything else, you can get in contact with me or Mrs Upton or Miss Tasha at explorers@redbouquets.staffs.sch.uk. And anything you do maths wise, please do put it onto Evidence Me, because we love to see what they've been up to. So take care, hope to see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.